supply demand ranges and order flow. Now, this concept is really explaining us what the biggest institutions are doing within this market, because they're buying and selling it, and they're going to always open up short positions and buying positions in order to bring the price long term to the upside, or on the middle term to the downside, or short term to make some liquidity sweeps and so on. Now, what we need to understand is that not every supply demand will be mitigated. Probably you've seen that you've been marking out some supply zones, and this supply zone will never be hit. Now, this has a reason, because that supply zone is already mitigated. Now, the reason for that is because the price already mitigated the whole range. So let me explain you this in this example. So you got, for instance, here this supply zone, and the idea is that price will return to the supply zone to mitigate this supply zone and then to drop all the way back down. Now, what you will see is sometimes price will only move till here and then it will drop down. Now, that doesn't mean right now that the price did not mitigate the supply zone. In fact, it did, because you can view this whole supply zone as a supply range. Okay, so this whole thing here is a supply range because it broke structure, and in this case, for a valid supply zone, you don't need to see a clean break of structure with a candle close body, so that the body will close with the whole candle above or below and low. No, it's already enough if the price will just wick below it, and you can always accept that price to return to it. Now, this is my supply range now, and what I expect is that price will return to it to mitigate a little bit of it. Most of the cases, you expect something around 50%, which should be at least for a valid mitigation. Of course, sometimes it will only come till here, but in most of the cases, it will really come around 50% of it or something like this, and then it will return back down. And this move up will leave you a new supply range right below it. Okay, so this is right now here a new valid supply zone. So should mark it like this till the move down, and then from the move down, the whole up move is again a new supply zone, and so on. You just continue, right? So price will now from here, for instance, go like this, move back down, and at the moment when it will wick below this low here, it is a valid new supply range. That's it. And you always just expect price to come to mitigate here within this one. Now, what will occur, or what is the situation if price will do something like this? Now, this situation means that price has created successfully here a new demand range. Okay, so the whole order flow is here switching back bullish. That's the whole key. Then what you expect from here is that price will come somewhere in this range and then move on, creating a new demand range and so on. Now, important is, and this is something which then people will start to think about it and will say, okay, it's kind of weird to use this concept because it doesn't make always sense. I totally understand that. The thing is, price now from here, for instance, could completely switch back down and it will create a new supply zone. And if many people will say, okay, it was just a switch in order flow. Yes, could be an option. But what you need to understand in a situation like this is that this thing here is still a valid higher time frame supply zone. So you always need to also switch a little bit the time frame sometimes to really understand where you are at the end. But it's not necessary, because you can always interpret then this whole movement to be still a valid supply zone, because if you look at this, price did not really mitigate 50% of it here, and it just dropped down. But now it came up to mitigate the 50%. So also here you have a little bit of space of interpretation, and this could lead for many traders to not really understand what this concept is about. But just by understanding here and following what I've just drawn here out, will make for you super easy to understand, because here bearish till it will come back demand, then back bearish, and now expect price to continue to go more to the downside. So that's at the end the whole concept. You just need to understand that the idea of it is just for price to come into a mitigated to an unmitigated range. And what you can do, of course, is always to map out then the refinements and so on, of course. So we will use all the other confluences together. Order flow should just explain you, okay, where are we in this market and where is the price supposed to go? Because here you will get some nice data because of the fact that you will follow overall the ranges plus the wicks, which will explain you if the price is ready to shift. Okay, so it's super important concept to use, will really help you to determine the right POIs, and especially if you will see something which is unmitigated range, price could always come and return to it. Of course, if it's right now a long time till has passed since then of course not, so you need to follow also the overall structure and so on. Okay, then I would say I'm just going to show you some examples on how I'm using this. More than likely I like to use this on the M15. It's very powerful on the M15 because if you follow the M15 you will always understand why price will reverse. Of course, be aware of the daily supply zones, the 4-hour supply zones to get extra confluences, but I'm going to show you right now how easy this kind of concept is to apply. And this is the first thing. Look at this. So price here created for us the first supply zone for me because it went lower. Okay, so as you can see, it swept out here liquidity. So it gave you here that one, oops, wrong instrument. So this is the supply range. It gave us here that one charge, so what we're looking here is a charge, change of character. And what you expect when price is hitting this, it should not go higher than this. If it will go higher than this, then price potentially could is already in a demand zone, could shift back bullish. Here in this case, if you just understand this kind of thing, this is already a supply range which got already mitigated within it. So no need to come all the way back up here, but yes, still a possibility for price to come all the way back up. And then you just follow what price is doing. So generally speaking, this is the top. Price should not wick above it. Otherwise, we will be back potentially in a demand zone. Boom. As you can see, price is respecting this pretty good. This is still the supply range. Now, I need to make it bigger because this is the new supply range in this case. Okay, so price just creates a new one. And as you can see, it's smaller at the top because price didn't went up higher. Okay, and that's the game that you need to play with it. Now, what you expect right now here is price to come to mitigate this big range and to reverse. And this is what it's doing right now. And then you wait for price if it will break down or not. And here in this case, again, new valid supply zone is what the price has created with this movement. And of course, you need to always understand potential refinements of it because you can use it in this case like this as well, And that will help you to determine a smaller supply range and then to identify within the supply range something which needs to get mitigated. For instance, here you got a valid supply zone because from your price has broken this structure here. And if in this case, okay, price needs to return to the supply range because it needs to get mitigated, and you understand, okay, we don't need to come all the way back up here, then it will help you to really understand, okay, this is my only POI where I need to look for an entry. That's it. And then you just wait here for charge or price action confirmation or something on the 5 seconds, and then you're ready to rock the trend to the downside. Okay, and the same game we just play again and again. Look at this. New supply range being created. That's exactly this one over here. It took out the low, and that's the only up move. So what you expect now, price to not go up higher. If it will break it, it will shift back bullish. And boom, price is moving back down, as you can see, creating a new supply range. Now, how you can use it? Like this. You can use it like this, so you have a lot of variations here. That's the problem, the main problem of it, because you really need to train your eyes here to get experience in really applying this concept the right way, because sometimes it just, if price is here, you don't want always to look here already for an entry, so right now we're not mitigated, but this is why it's so important then to apply all the concepts together. And order flow should just explain you right now, okay, price just needs to come up higher here because there is still something unmitigated, and that's the whole goal of this concept, not really to get you right now in such crazy entries, because these entries will be determined afterwards after you understood where price is in reality. Okay, then let's move on what the price is doing. So here we got a new supply range. This is right now this one, but what we understand here as well is, look at this one is unmitigated. It's unmitigated, and price created a new supply range. Let me just explain you right now this here. This is a charge, or in this case, even a break of structure here, the same, just to show you right now for detailed explanations what is making it for me valid that this is a real supply zone, okay? So right now, from this current phase, we know price could still go up higher here. It could give us also potential shift in momentum, so that price would just go bullish. So everything can happen here. Super interesting to see. As you can see, price taps into it, valid supply zone. So from here, you could look for a short positions, but be aware of potential upper movements. And yeah, that's it. That's what the price did at the end. So right now, this switched bullish, so it's right now a demand range, and this is this one here. This is my new demand range. So what I expect right now is the price will come all the way back up and it wicks below. This is something which can occur, and that means that also this concept here is not always perfect, and that's totally fine, because you will have here in this case many other factors why you should not get involved into this trade. So always understand this. Okay, so this is invalid. In fact, it became back. This is right now again a new supply zone, but here at this moment right now already price broke it back up. So this is right now a new demand range. It did not mitigate this one yet. Okay, so we can still expect right now, just because of the matter of fact price switched back bullish right now, we can still go up all the way back here to mitigate this one. Yeah, that's right now how the price developed. So for me, this one here was definitely a valid demand zone that failed, which is not a problem. Now here we have back a new demand range, and this here was for a short time a supply zone. It could be still a supply zone, but as you can see, price already shifted, and therefore for me this is not a supply zone anymore at this moment. So let's go. Boom, price is tapping into this supply range. Potentially you can look for shorts. Keep in mind you have right now this demand range and this supply range, so you're right now really in a range itself, so you don't know right now what the real direction is. Both is possible right now, so you just need to expect some breakouts. More than likely the demand should be in control. Why? Because here everything switched, but the switch could be just the goal to grab this liquidity and then to bring it even lower afterwards. Could be also an option. Let's see. Okay, price is moving all the way back down. As you can see here, we have some demand zones, but the range is already here, so no need the price will really come all the way back here, but that could be a nice opportunity for a buying. Yeah, looks like it will not return to it. Yeah, everything fine. Right now, you are still in the same range. Nothing has changed. Let just the price run to give us more details. And we want to see exactly. That's it. So now, this is the moment where price has taken out this, giving us here a charge or BOS. So I would just determine charge because for me, the wicks are valid and not the candle closes. If we have candle closes, of course it is also valid, but we just need only a charge and everything is good. Okay, so here new demand range. From here, as you can see, price has broken all the way back up. So what we expect is price to return to it, and from here to look for a buying opportunity. Boom, this is exactly what it is doing. Right now, look at this. You can then look on the lower here. you got mini demand ranges, you know, so you can really understand everything in demand ranges. It's just then difficult to understand, okay, where price will really go. Now, that was the first one. Then you got another one here, okay? Price taps into this new demand range already, as you can see, and boom. This is order flow, guys. This is simply order flow. Boom. And so on. Here, as you can see, it already came back to it. This is a new demand zone up there, and perfectly. Boom. And you closed above this one. So here, this is your new demand range, or you view everything as a demand range, you know? So a lot of things are possible here. Also here down below, this here, as you can see, could be interpreted to be still here a demand range. This one could be still a demand range. Why? Because in this case, that was a very small movement. So this one could be still something valid in here. If you compare this here to the other ones here, it just looks a little bit different. But yeah, let's see. Overall, keep in mind, this is a demand range on a higher time frame. You can already see it. Okay, as you can see, boom, price comes back up, grabs you the liquidity, and it's continue with the demand range, and so on. So really not a difficult concept. New demand range being created. Yeah, just a very small one here. It's, you know, only one candle can be sometimes tricky, so I want really to see something like this. So this is for me a clean demand range, for instance. But now the thing is, look at this, it's just going up without giving us any proper mitigations anymore, and that's a problem, because here in this case this is also still something. Probably this is mitigated, you know, so it's not always 100% clear what it really did. But what you can expect always, you know, after price is moving like this and not giving you proper mitigation on the ranges, is a pullback, you know. And it's something which you need to look for then, and this is the understanding that you need to get. Now here we already switched. Oh yeah, so we already switched here. As you can see, this is right now a new supply range. Okay, and you got here the demand range. So again, these two are fighting with each other. So what can we expect is, boom, price is moving into the demand range. Now it could from here move all the way back up, or it will completely shift. But as you can see, this supply range is already mitigated, you know, so this one should actually not really work anymore. It's already mitigated, okay, because it came from here, came all immediately back up, and it even mitigated something here like this. Okay, so this one should right now not be the best supply zone, let's say. Okay, demand range, boom, perfectly. Now here you have already two things. Price created a new demand range, which immediately turned into a supply zone because it reacted off at some level here, came back down, and this is a new supply range now. But it was a demand range because it went above this. Okay, now this is a supply range. What you expect is price to come to it and to drop down lower afterwards. Okay, so as you can see here, prices continue to create supply zones. So there's a new supply zone. Let's see if we will wick below this or above. Okay, yeah, we wick down below. So look at this new supply range. So it's continuing to move down. Now, whenever you're in a situation like this where you know, okay, I still have a range up there, this is not mitigated, we can expect it to get run, you know. We really expect that these supply zones will be used as a source of liquidity in order for them to bring it all the way back up to finally close their big long positions. Of course, the overall direction of the structure, anything needs to be in alignment, but right now, just by using this concept, you can really explain the whole price action on the Euro USD, why it is moving like that and why it is supposed to move like that. Okay, so this one is still valid, so I'm going to map it out like this, as price could still come to this place. Now, important is always, like you can see right now here, price is creating supply, and okay, it's still a supply here. The moment when it will go above it, it will be demand. Look at this. This should still hold. But now I think we already wicked above it, right? Ah, no. Look at this. It's still holding. Boom. Okay, so it's boom. Very aggressive. Look at this. It's immediately moving back up. So I wanted to see if price could have been switching a little bit slower, you know, because potentially you could have been interpreting right now this as this supply range. Here it got broken out, so this will be then a demand range. You know, this could be then a demand range at the moment when you wicked above this candle here. So it really depends on how big you're mapping them out, you know. So it's not always clear, of course not. It is not necessary to be. And look at this, moving up, moving down to mitigate it, and boom, it's moving like crazy to the upside. Okay, returning to this, and down here you should look at some point here to go for a short. For instance, here you got this supply zone, you got this supply zone. Yeah, some of these should work at the end. Okay, moving down, what that means is, look at this, it didn't really stop here too much. Yeah, so supply is under control and it's moving back down like this. Perfectly. So let's see where we are currently. Yeah, now this is how I would view it. This is here a bigger demand range, or the whole thing, you know, but it looks like this because here you can see how many demand supply ranges you had here and so on. So price is returning to it, grabbing here some liquidity, and you can expect price to just move on at some point, you know. So at some point it will just gave us here switch in momentum to gave us to follow, you know. It looks like price right now it just shifted back bullish after such a strong bearish movement. Move up, down. So it's important then to also understand where structure is always. Okay, and here already the shift started, as you can see. Okay, so don't need this anymore. This is my new demand range. So expect here a mitigation within it, and then expect price to go up higher. Okay, did not map it up properly. Now look at this, guys. Something like this will not make it invalid. Keep in mind, it's always that one rule that we have 1 to 2 pipette, you know, like on every demand zone. So keep that in mind, okay, because that will save you. You really want to see price, you know, if it would be right now in this case, the wick here, totally valid. Even if it would be just here, I would also say it's valid. But these are always the 1 to 2 pipette, which I would never take into consideration. And what you can see here also, if you would say, oh yeah, it's back bearish or something like this, what you can see here is that it already, even if you would view it as this and would say, okay, no, it's a wick, for me it's valid, it's bearish, here it's already back bullish again. Okay, so it will give you anyway a lot of options on how to interpret this. And this is my new demand range here, mitigating it, and I expect right now price to go up bullish. That's it. So here the same, back bullish, even this. Okay, so very cool, very interesting. Let's see what price is doing. Coming back to this demand range, as you can see here, again switching back up. So here very quickly went bearish, creating your supply zone. Okay, supply zone. And here the whole switch started, you know. So here was still bearish, but then with that up move, it came back bullish, because here the goal was the same, to come into this demand range to mitigate it. And then from here, you can see that there is a lot of volume in it. They really want to bring the price all the way back up, and they're switching the order flow back bullish. That's the whole secret. And then price is just moving and moving and moving. So new demand range, so thing here, or like this. Yeah, this right now this right now again switched everything back bearish on the Euro USD. But as you can see, this is still here. You know, this one is still here. So this is the real demand zone. It created here a new, you know, because it wicked above it. That's okay. You need to just watch right now what it will do, because this is right now still in control, you know, in this case, because it didn't went below this one, so it could still be valid. And as you can see, it created here again a new one, and boom, it's moving and moving. Okay, so now price is back bullish, as you can see. So it broke this whole thing, you know. So it's always, you know, you really need to zoom out, zoom in, and so on to really understand what price is always doing. Now look at this. This is still a demand range, for instance. The whole thing. We still got here unmitigated demand ranges. So you always need to think like that as well, because it's not always easy to say right now, okay, what is price doing, you know, because also here it will trap you sometimes, you know. This is why we use the other concepts. But just to explain you right now how we're using this, right? So right now here, still bullish. Everything still bullish. So my demand range, where I would like to see price coming into it. And it's turning here back into supply range. And we're moving. And here we're back bullish, you know, so it has been bearish, then we broke it, and we got right now here a new demand range. You're within this higher time frame demand range, so you can expect something, and this is exactly what price is doing at the end. Then look at this, new demand ranges, you know, this one here is mitigated, this one could be also partially being mitigated, as you can see, but right now it's already returned to it, so yes, still valid, and boom. So they really go crazy from these levels. You just need to identify then with the other concepts, okay, which is right now really my zone, because this would be probably the zone that we will map out here. Okay, so it's moving to the upside. Look at this, still valid. So it's still valid. So this, as you can see, this was just a small tap. Whenever you got something like this, price could always just come down lower to mitigate it. Yeah, and here everything started to be back bullish. Yeah, super bullish. Now, of course, you got these kind of things here as well, but the moment when you just see something which is below and it's unmitigated could be just risky for you, but doesn't mean that always it will return to it. Also keep that in mind. No fixed rules for this. Look at this, I guess. This here, perfectly. Moving on. Here the same. Moving on from here, moving on from here. So you can, if you want, you can map out thousands of levels, you know, so it's really crazy. You can go down to M5 and everything. Here, look at this. This is always nice when we see something like this, because what we can see right now, just at this point, is you got this demand range, which is not mitigated, okay? You could also interpret right now this whole thing here. Okay, this is, you know, this is, for instance, already mitigated here. Could still go all the way back down. It's a possibility, but could be also mitigated one. Interesting is definitely this level, because you can also see from the first view, here's a ton of liquidity, plus this one is unmitigated. And you can see here at the top, oh yes, it's already shifting, okay? So it's already back bearish. So what you look right now for is to follow the bearish trend, potentially to come lower in something to get mitigated. So if you still have right now this here, and you got this one. Now this one could again ping pong it all the way back up. And yes, it did. It ping ponged up to mitigate the supply. Now this supply is gone. You know, it's mitigated, it's gone. Now you are still in this demand range, okay? But as you can see, it reacted already so crazy that it created down here a new supply range here. Still, the demand could be in control at that moment. But yeah, you know, we have all the targets right now screaming, we want to go lower, we want to mitigate something. But yeah, let's see if it will do it. Okay, look at this mitigation perfectly on the supply zone. So supply is currently definitely under control here in the midterm. Moving here, new supply range already mitigated perfectly. So okay, here everything is mitigated. Okay, look at this, mitigated, mitigated, mitigated. Okay, so everything looks good. So now what we expect is price to come somewhere here. This is mitigated, good. Look at this here, no effect at the demand zone. Here, pure liquidity, it's grabbing the liquidity like it's nothing. Now this is the POI, let's see. It's just moving back down. Look at this, it's moving back down. Here, this small wick right now. We tapped into it. Okay, great. So we tapped into it. Now, this is important right now because we talk about the wicks. Now, normally I would say invalid, so that this is right now not a new demand range. But you can see price tapped into a POI where it makes sense the price could reverse. So in this case, I would definitely say, okay, that's a valid charge in this case. Okay, not always, okay, like it was here in that one example down here. That was for me not valid, but this one definitely is right now here a new demand range. If you look at the market down here, I guess it really came back up to be bullish, you know. So it's, yeah, not always 100% clear what price is doing, but I would say this is definitely right now for me the demand thing. Yeah, and it's moving. Look at this, came up to mitigate something. So here in this case, again, you got multiple confirmations. You got the first one, price tapped into the demand range where it makes sense because of the liquidity. Then it gave you already a switch, plus you got a supply range which is not mitigated yet, and you would like to see price going all the way back up to mitigate that one. And then let's see the reaction, if we will need to follow the bearish market or the bullish market, because right now it's not clear. Because if you follow right now everything what we mapped out so far, it is a step-by-step mitigation on the demand zone and a step-by-step mitigation on the supply zones. So we don't know right now which one is really in control. So just follow right now the supply range. And here already the first switch started, you know, like this. Let's move on. Boom. So look at this, supply ranges after supply ranges. Boom. Here is the moment where we get below it. So this is right now the new supply zone, mitigated it again, and so on. So yeah, always the same play here what we are playing. So look at this, how good they're respecting it. Okay. So in this case, for instance, it just came all the way back up to this POI. But as you can see, the real supply zone here overall was this one, which is under control. It's still this one, you know, that's the higher time frame supply zone. Here in this case, what I mapped out here is something on the internal structure, because price never came below this, you know. Also important to map out this one. Of course, you can draw like this, but these are not, in this case, not really the strong supply zones, because they never took out this, you know. So technically, you've been here still in a demand range. But yeah, as you can see, potentially you could have been then mapping it out like this, because that is then your POI. So it's just providing a liquidity to come all the way back up. Okay. Let's move on. Now you still got here this demand range, you know. So this is right now something which could still work, as it's super big range, you know. So just follow right now what price will do when it will just come to it. Yeah, so here still supply is under control, as you can see. Boom, that's the first time when it's just shifting everything. So potentially, oh, okay. So it shifted a little bit. Ah, no, sorry, it never shifted, sorry. My fault. Okay, this supply. This is something which is still unmitigated at this point, but here, supply. So never gave you actually in reality here the option to get involved in something, okay? So that's right now still supply was under control. Okay, so now you got this demand range, so this one could still work, as I mentioned, it's a very big one, so let's just make it a little bit more smaller because price is already in it. Okay, so here you are in this range. Let's see what it will do. Still supplies under control. Yeah, here is the shift. Here is the real shift of the demand zone. Demand zone. And moving. Expect price to mitigate it. Come up higher afterwards. Boom. Okay, so look at this. That was the supply zone, which I mentioned is one which is not mitigated. Price comes back to it. Now, why expect this? Potentially price to react off of this. Right now, demand is still under control, as you can see. This is still my demand. Okay, boom. Bearish range, automatically shifting. And go. So just expect price to come to it, to mitigate it, and then you can go lower. Okay, look, it's really wonderful how this kind of thing is always being respected. Now, switch back bearish. Got here something, so this is again your new supply range. You can draw like this, no matter how you're doing it. So here it's nice because also here the same kind of thing, like on every supply zone it took out liquidity. It makes sense, so always use it like that. Yeah, then you got here demand range still under control. So here still the same story, it's always like that. Now you really got everything here. For me, everything is mitigated. I mean, this here, not really. This one could still work, of course. Yeah, price taps into it. As you can see, supply ranges mitigation, demands on mitigation. So it looks super wonderful if you just follow it like this, You have like a triangle and then you expect at some point to, boom, it will explode in some directions, okay? Here, supply zone is still under control, but yeah, we expect it to go to get run. This is what we do. So price is creating right now here this huge new demand range. Expect a mitigation in it in order to come all the way back up. Yeah, this is always tricky, because look at this. Here price technically created a new demand range, but this is not mitigated. So always expect it to go to the unmitigated one because it will do it because it needs liquidity for the up moves, okay? Here again came all the way back down in this case. Okay, pretty nice. Okay, all till here everything is possible. Switching back bullish because internally it was back bearish here again, so here bearish supply, as you can see, came to mitigate this. So still supply was under control at that moment. Demand created, yes, but demand was taken out multiple times here in this case. Still because they wanted to get the supply zone first getting close before they want to bring it all the way back down, and then it's moving back up. So always play that game, so you can make this super detailed, guys. You can really map out everything. I just don't do it too extremely because I'm using the other concepts for it. Okay, I just need to understand, okay, where are potentially my POIs, like this one. Okay, and then I understand right now, okay, everything is mitigated, so I expect right now from here, of course, some things, and I'm looking then on the lower time frames for some entries, you know. And magic, okay, just magic will happen, price is moving back down. Okay, yeah, looks super, yeah, how should I say, if you look right now at the charts and everything is mapped out like this, ooh, kind of looking complicated in the first view, but it's really not complicated, guys. I hope you enjoy this concept. Go to the charts, apply it. I know it's not really, how should I say, it's not the easiest concept because you have so much space of interpretation of how you're going to use these concepts. But yeah, with time, you will get a feeling for it to really map it out. It's also not really necessary, you know, like I explained to you right now already multiple times during this video. It's not really important to make this super precise because it will not be the range itself which will get us the entry and the stop loss. We have different models for that. This one should just help you to understand, okay, what are the banks doing? Because right now, if you just look at this, what I mapped out here so far, you just see, okay, here, they pushed it all the way back down, back up, back down, back up, down, back up, down. So these are all the positions where they get into the market, selling a lot of things, buying a lot of things, but they always want to come to these levels back to mitigate it. And that's the whole secret of the order flow. And this is why order flow is so super powerful, especially if you're going to combine it with the other things. So definitely thanks for watching, and we will see in the next video, guys. Please apply it immediately to your chart.